Today, we're debating, should fast food be banned?
Certain products, like Coke, like Pepsi, should be outright banned.
Do you eat meat?
I do eat meat.
Do you fly?
I do fly.
Do you have an iPhone? Then are you saying we should ban cars, planes, phones? Should we ban all of this too?
Vishen is a health advocate and he believes fast food should be banned. Kelvin is a chef who believes banning fast food is not the solution. 50% of the audience agrees with Vishen and 50% with Kelvin. The one who changes the most minds wins. Let the debates begin.
Hi, my name is Vishen. I'm the founder of Mindvalley, and I believe that fast food should be banned because of the awful effect it's having on global health.
Hi, I'm Chef Kelvin Cheung, chef and partner of June's Dubai. We cannot ban fast food altogether in one shot. You're looking at an industry that provides over $600 billion of revenue for everyone across the globe. And you're also looking at an industry that provides 80 million meals to people on a daily basis. If we ban this completely, who's gonna feed them? What are they gonna do?
Firstly, why I believe fast food should be banned is because if you look at obesity rates across the planet, it's rising. And there's one common trend if you look at obesity rates. Wherever the American standard diet permeates the world, there is a corresponding rise in obesity. I come from Malaysia. Growing up in Malaysia, I've seen a shift in consumer behavior. People have stopped going to farmers markets and buying fresh food and instead shopping in American grocery stores, and obesity has been rising.
While I would never advocate having a diet based only on fast food, what you need to realize is that the majority of the people that are afflicted by this, it's at the bottom of the pyramid. So for someone like me, who came from nothing, and at a point in time when I was working full-time, working 15 hours a day, I was homeless for 2 years. And there was a period of time when I had to think about what I'm gonna eat. So this is the things that we have to look at, educating people. But again, removing this is not the solution.
Educating people can be very difficult. How do we educate 400 million poor people in India, many of whom might be illiterate? America has created a society where the cheapest food is fake food, it's junk food, because America tolerated the rise of fast food. They didn't protect the farmers, they didn't protect organic, and thus that food is more expensive. But developing countries are at that tipping point where they can protect local growers, local farmers. How did our grandparents cook?
So if you're talking about your grandparents, it's a very different world now. Every 4 minutes back then, you would see farms. Every 4 minutes, you see trees. Now, every 4 minutes, you see a fast food place. It's a different stage, it's a different world. Everything is about fast, convenience. Everything is about high stress, high levels of mental anxiety.
Many of these fast food companies are failing to mention this simple scientific fact. 85% of your body shape is the food you eat. It is not exercise. So companies like Nestle and Coca-Cola and even fast food companies, they tell you, eat our food. And then, hey, we're gonna sponsor this marathon. We're gonna sponsor this race, this exercise thingy. This lie is the reason why so many people make the wrong decisions when it comes to food.
These are where the changes are happening. You're seeing it. You're seeing nutritional info being placed on fast food restaurants, on labels. But you're also now, in today's age, mental health is so fragile that if we're not giving them options to have, that mental stress is a bigger effect on a lot of people. Do you think I really care? Like 10 years ago, you're talking about when I was homeless and worried about my food. Do you think I really cared if I had a six-pack? No, I was worried about my next meal. I was worried what I was gonna give for my kid. That's more important to me than how I look. That's more important than all this stuff that's gonna happen to me in 10 years.
We're not talking about how you look. We're talking about how you feel and how you're gonna die. There are 4 things that kill people: Alzheimer's, heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. All 4 of these are correlated with wrong foods going into your body. And so it's not about a six-pack, it's literally a matter of life and death. In my country, in Malaysia, 47% of adults over 18 are now clinically obese.
Look who are the people that are consuming this. For them, they don't care what's happening in 30 years. They don't care if they're gonna die in 40 years. They don't care if they're shortening their lives by 10 years. I need to get through today. I need to provide for my family. I need to provide for me. For some of these people, it's about getting the calories in.
The calorie myth has been debunked. It's not just about getting calories in, it's about getting the right calories in. 100 calories of Coke will hurt you. 100 calories of vegetables or eggs or fruit will actually give you a benefit. So this idea that all calories are calories is not true.
Since the beginning of time, people have had the freedom of choice to choose what they eat, what they do, what they believe in. Nothing should change now. We're in a day and age where governments are being toppled because people want their freedom. They want to be human and have their own choice of what they want to do in their lives and what they want to do for their families.
The problem is the human mind can be hacked. There's a concept called neuromarketing, and great companies invest millions in neuromarketing. They hack your mind to get you addicted to things like gambling. They hack your mind through emotional advertising to get you addicted to substances like Coca-Cola or Milo. I was in Malaysia when the first McDonald's opened. I was one of those Malaysian kids seduced by the big yellow signage, begging my dad to let me taste a McDonald's burger.
These algorithms run throughout our lives, and the only way to prevent it is not from removing it entirely. The way to prevent this is education and being able to tell people to make conscious choices on what they want to do in their lives.
And that's what governments did with tobacco companies, right? They started educating people. But what they found is simply placing a warning label did not increase the odds of people giving up smoking. People started smoking more. Why? Because tobacco companies found how to do neuromarketing to get you hooked to their packaging, even with a warning label. The only option was to ban cigarettes in all indoor locations.
When you say you're gonna ban something, you're borderline running into an area where people lose control of everything. You look somewhere like a North Korea where they actually don't allow any of this stuff. It can drive people into war, and people will overthrow these governments because you can do a lot of things. You can say, you can't say this, you can't do that, but the moment you mess around with someone's ability to feed themselves or their families, that's when people will revolt. When you're saying something like ban Coca-Cola, you need to look at somewhere like Mexico. Why is water more expensive than cola?
You shouldn't be saying Coca-Cola is a better option in these few areas where it might be cheaper than water. Let's fix water.
Exactly. Let's fix the water first. We need to, again, so we need to fix the water. We need to fix the healthier food first. We need to fix the whole chain and the whole dynamic of this economy before we look at attacking these other people.
But you're looking at a tiny area. Coca-Cola is not cheaper than water in most areas in the world. Water is a basic necessity for human life.
You drink alcohol?
I do. I love wine.
What were we doing last night?
We were hanging out in the bar and I did have 2 to 3 glasses of wine.
What about the billions of dollars that are spent on alcohol spends? That has greater impact not only on our health, but also our mental health and what we do as a society.
It is illegal for an alcohol company to suggest that you should be drinking alcohol for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's huge restrictions on alcohol advertising.
But it's not banned. It's still readily available.
But it is banned. Notice, in the United States, you cannot legally buy alcohol unless you're over 21. But kids can get addicted to Coke. There are huge regulations on alcohol.
What we're forgetting is that the accessibility and the price and affordability of these fast food items, for a lot of people, it's their treat. It's for them. It's giving pleasure for their kids or their family, or as a family as a whole, for themselves. Regulation, stricter standards, better cooking, better food, all have to be put in place without removing all of this entirely.
Not fast enough. Not fast enough. I traveled to Egypt. I saw Coca-Cola machines with the word optimism on them. That is dangerous. You're equating a dangerous food substance with an emotion.
But everyone does that. Look at all the luxury items that we use and everybody covets and everyone fights for, following these celebrities who are showing these fancy clothes, fancy shoes. Look what you have here. This is something that everyone wants and everyone covets. We survive with payphones. Do we really need to have the latest $1,000 iPhone with 2 terabytes and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Do we really need
I need my Instagram to watch NAS daily. Coca-Cola seduces you to get addicted to their drink. Coca-Cola is the single biggest plastic polluter in the world.
Do you eat meat?
I do eat meat.
And meat consists of 60% of the world's greenhouse effect. Do you fly?
I do fly.
Do you have an iPhone? What about your chargers, your cases? Then are you saying we should ban cars, planes, phones, all the luxury things that we're having, fast fashion? Should we ban all of this too?
Yes and no. So firstly, in all of those instances, regulations are being put in place. For example, the European Union has said that after a certain date, you can no longer sell gasoline-powered vehicles in the EU. Everything has to be electric. Likewise, there are innovations taking place in the meat industry for 3D printed meat. NAS Daily even did a whole video on this. All of these industries are innovating. But the fast food industry is not innovating.
But they are taking changes. You're seeing all these big brands have a huge shift in offering vegetarian menus. They're offering plant-based meats. Subway source their ingredients from environmentally friendly farmers. KFC Singapore has stopped providing plastic straws and cup lids. Pizza Hut was recognized by China's Ministry of Environmental Protection for its commitment to reducing its environmental footprint, and they even gave them a Chinese environmental prize for it.
These are awesome, and I support all of these. But there are a few insidious products that I do sincerely believe should be banned outright. McDonald's has meat, which, if you remember that campaign by Jamie Oliver, he showed that it's not even actually chicken. In the Philippines, Nestle runs advertisements telling parents that children suffer from a made-up disease called energy gap, and giving them Milo is going to give these kids energy again. But here's the issue. Milo is 40% sugar. It is lying to Filipino parents, and it is causing a rise in obesity rates in Filipino and Malaysian children.
So everything in moderation. Again, these are options that we give people so that they have the option to have it. It's not something that they should be having every meal, but because of it, the convenience, the efficiency, and the affordability, that's why it needs to be there for them.
So I agree with you, everything in moderation. But here's why I believe some of these products need to be banned. Because the companies are not aiming to get you to drink them in moderation. Roberto Goizueta, in the mid-1990s, he was the CEO of Coke, he made a statement publicly that went like this: our competition is not Pepsi, our competition is water. Think about that. Think about how crazy that statement is.
I'm going to try to sell you it. If I'm selling lawnmowers, I'm going to basically tell you you need 10 lawnmowers. It's just their job. That's what they're doing. You're attacking what they're doing as a business as opposed to what they're providing for the people. If you ban and remove these places, you're removing a safe haven for a lot of these people who cannot afford these luxuries. People sometimes just need a place to go, even if it's just a break for AC, a break for warmth, somewhere where they can afford to have a bite to eat, a small sip of drink. People in Hong Kong, you'll see some homeless people, they stay there at night because there's nowhere else for them to go.
They stay in fast food restaurants?
Yeah, because they're open 24 hours. And the thing is, the government's not moving fast enough to provide sustenance and shelter for these people.
But I don't think these fast food restaurants are literally saying, hey, this is going to be a homeless shelter. I don't think they're encouraging that. Very often they have locks on their toilet door, or you got to go ask for a passcode. This might be an observation in certain areas in Hong Kong, but it's definitely not true for the vast majority of fast food joints.
No, but that's just looking at one aspect, because they're still providing the access to that food and drink, which they're unable to provide. I see the negative impact that things like Coke and stuff has on a global health. But what you're not focusing is on, if we ban this completely, how many jobs will be lost? How much of the economy will be hurt? This is a huge impact, again, on our global financial status, and especially in a time when, again, money is just becoming harder to make. Inflation is rising 10% every year. It's going to become unaffordable for people to find these easy, low-income jobs for people who are uneducated and who don't have access. That's something that we should be concerned with as well before we say ban it.
Well, I beg to argue, because jobs shift all the time. When Henry Ford invented the motor car, horses started disappearing from our streets. Likewise, if we have tighter regulation for food, healthier substitute companies will arise, thus creating job opportunities for people.
I bet, but that's an assumption, because these jobs are innate in these rural low-income areas. Areas that are targeted for this fast food because they need this food automatically employ people of that same area. So in a smaller market that requires such things, it's part of the ecosystem.
I think there's a reason why a synonym for a lousy job is a Mac job. It's because jobs in the fast food industry are actually pretty bad. Now, if we can put tighter regulations so mom and pop restaurants can emerge, so that local produced products can emerge, I don't believe these companies are treating their employees as well as smaller startups and mom and pop restaurants. I also believe, Kelvin, that these companies are killing culture. I live in the city of Tallinn, Estonia, and the government has done an incredible job to ban Starbucks and other companies from coming into the old medieval town. As a result, within the old town of Tallinn, which is a UNESCO heritage site, there's so many beautiful original cafes. But I used to live in New York, and I've seen cafe culture in New York, restaurant culture in New York, die out. Mom and pop stores die out because of the emergence of McDonald's, Starbucks, and other fast food.
But just imagine you're a blue-collar worker who has saved up for 2 years to take your family on this beautiful trip to wherever, any of those places that you've named. They get there, what's their focus? Their focus is to provide a memorable trip, to experience things, to see things, to go see the mountains, the forest, and whatever. When it comes to something like food for them, at that point of time, if they have 4 kids who are hungry, who are crying, who are just losing, having meltdowns, for them, it's much easier to go, hey, let's go grab a combo because my kid will 100% eat it. My kid will 100% enjoy it. I can throw it away, I can afford it, and I can move on and we can head to Disney World, we can head to the mountains, we can head to the forest, we can head to whatever.
I would say that it's irresponsible parenting because you cannot be feeding your kids these things. I mean, go to a street side vendor. If you're in Istanbul, go try the kebabs that are sold in many of these street side vending places, but not fast food that is not healthy. So I believe that it is so important that we take action now for the sake of human health to reduce obesity globally, to help people live longer by banning these companies and these products that have such a malicious impact on human health.
I believe that fast food cannot be banned because of the social and economic impact it'll have on the rest of the world.
Let the audience vote again. The one who changed the most minds will be the winner. And the winner is Vishen.
Yes!
As always, the real winner is decided in the comments section. Let us know if you think fast food should be banned.